Hello and welcome to Flutiversity. I'm Jenny Tutton here with another play along video to go with our practice plan in F major and D minor. Today is day 10 and we are finally reaching the top of our second octave F major scale. So to play all the way up to that high F, we need another new fingering. Okay, so if you think of your regular middle F fingering that you're used to, you're gonna lift up your middle finger here. Okay. And that's going to get you to your high note. You can also think about putting down thumb, 1, 3, 1, pinky, if that helps you. Either way, this is what you're doing. And make sure that your thumb is still on that thumb B flat key. Notice we've got that reminder in there with a little parenthesis and the TH flat to help you remember to put your thumb B flat key on when you start F major activities. Okay. So for this week, we are going to be building up to those high notes and we're going to spend a lot of time kind of noodling around up in those tricky fingerings. If they're new fingerings for you, slow down, practice them as slowly as you need to. The important thing is that your fingers are moving together and that it feels kind of easy. If it feels frantic, that's not very helpful because you're practicing with extra tension in your fingers and that's not what we want. So slowing down is always a good idea. Okay. Even if these are old hat for you and you've known these fingerings for a while, they can still be a little tricky. So this extra practice, sort of like repeating those patterns, can be really helpful. Okay, starting off with our first group. Measure 1. Okay, we're going to do that again. Did everybody get to that high F fingering with your middle finger up over here? Ready? One more time. Okay, awesome job. So moving on to the next one, we are going to practice going from F to E natural to F. Okay? Everybody start in your high F fingering. Make sure your middle finger is up. Ready? Awesome. And notice when I demonstrate the fingerings and things, I may have my fingers way up in the air, but you're probably tired of hearing me saying this, but it's so important. You want to keep your fingers as close as possible to the keys at all times, but especially as you're going up into these super high notes. Okay. Our next practicing unit, we're going to switch back and forth just a little quicker. We're using eighth notes to go from F to E natural. Awesome job, you guys. So moving on to the next one, we're doing our 16th note pattern in the little short bursts so that we get quick movements of our fingers, but we have time to like rest and sort of think in between. 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and. Awesome job. Moving on to the next one, we are going to put 3 notes together, and these are our 3 notes that have the different high note fingering. So make sure you're practicing with high D fingering, high E fingering, and high F fingering. Don't hesitate to stop and check a fingering chart if you need to, or like write down the fingering like in the corner of your music so that you have it there ready to go, okay? Yeah, quarter notes, D, E, and F. job. So our next unit is going to go just a little bit faster. So our eighth notes, but we've still got the sort of resting time built in on the quarter note. You'll notice as I'm practicing that I sort of like look over to the side. That's where I have my practice plan. But then I'm able to look away from the practice plan because I'm playing the same couple of notes over and over and over. That's a really smart thing to do as you practice. First of all, you can look in a mirror while you play when you do that. You can check your embouchure. You can see how your body's looking. Are you comfortable? And it'll help you to start memorizing your scales and to sort of just like get an idea for playing what you want it to sound like, because you have memorized these 3 notes, of course, and you know what they're supposed to sound like. Okay, so let's do the quarter or eighth quarter pattern here coming up in measure 5, D, E, F. For our next unit, we're doing that 1E and 2E and 3E and, okay? It is not easy to get your fingers moving from these D to E to high F, okay? The important things are that your fingers are relaxed and that they're all moving at the same time. So feel free to pause this video and go at a different tempo, or to play this unit a little bit longer. Any of that is fine and totally approved. Okay, let's do it. Ready? Excellent work. Okay, let's see. What do we have next here? We are going to do the same thing, but coming down. So start with your fingers in that high F position, and we're going to do quarter notes F, E, D. Ready? Excellent job. Now a little faster in eighth notes. Excellent. Okay, moving on, we're going to do our 16th note pattern. For a little variety this time, if you'd like to practice your articulation and your double tonguing, and also make sure you're keeping your rhythm nice and even, instead of playing one D on the end, you can tongue it twice. So you have F, E, D, D, F, E, D, D, F, E, D, D, F, E, D, D. Okay, just a variation for you to practice if you want something a little new. I'm going to do the first couple like we've played the last ones, but then I will switch over so you can hear it both ways. All right. Okay, great job. And seriously, really good job sticking with these high note, those high note sections. I know they're tricky, but it is so worth it. Flutists play up here in the stratosphere a lot. So they will serve you well, I promise. For our next bit, we are gonna seam them together. So we're gonna practice going up and then down, first in eighth notes. So our next group. And now a little bit faster, we're gonna do 16th notes. Ready? All right, for this next unit, notice we have another dotted bar line, so you're gonna keep going through all the way until you get to the end of the scale. We've got a couple of places in there with quarter notes so that you can rest and like recoup your fingers and get your brains ready to go on to the next little section. Again, go. Again, go. And one more time, go. Awesome, and our next unit is our second octave of the scale with no resting points. It's all 16th notes up and down. Hopefully by now your fingers are feeling pretty relaxed on your high D's, E's, and F's, but feel free to go back and loop around and do the ones that are the hardest. That's one of the main features of our practice plans, is that these little units are designed to help you know exactly which little bit of your technique needs extra attention. All right, for our last scale of the day. Ready? Last time. All right, great job today. We have reached the end of our second octave F major scale. If you have a little more time in your practice schedule for the day, I would go back and revisit these with a metronome at whatever tempo feels good and comfortable to you. Either way, I will see you back tomorrow for day 11. Bye.